Inhibitory control. Not doing something that you don't want to, basically, or that part of you doesn't want to. So say, let's bring it to a linguistic example. I'm learning Spanish and Portuguese at the same time. They're very similar languages, and say my first language is something like Mandarin or Swahili, not very similar to either. But because the two that I'm learning are very similar, is it more likely that I will mix them up than if I were learning, say, Russian and Quechua? Two totally unrelated languages, not even spoken on the same continent. You see my point. But let's say that my first language is Spanish, and then I start to learn both Russian and Swahili. Again, two totally different languages. Well, am I going to mix them up more or less? What am I going to be able to inhibit? If I start speaking in Russian, am I going to be able to inhibit my first language or indeed the third language? What we don't know, and this is where the technical jargon comes in, is whether typological difference, how unlike or like each other in terms of type languages are, typology, if the distance in that, so how similar or dissimilar on some sort of scale they are, what effect that has on your ability to inhibit one versus the other when you are trying to speak English and suddenly a Russian word pops into your mind. Can you say, stop, don't say the Russian word, don't use the Russian sound or the Russian sentence structure, let's stick to English here? What happens?